So, this is a little different kind of video here. We are not on the water, we are back in the garage. I'm just gonna run you guys through my rods and reels, my setups, kind of what I like, what rods I use for what lures, because basically you'll realize as you get more and more into bass fishing, you don't want to necessarily buy lures for rods, you want to buy rods for lures. So you're really trying to specialize each individual lure. So for example, start with my spinning rods. This is a 6.6 Shakespeare Micro Series. This is definitely a light rod, very flexible tip. Throwing it on a little spinning reel. This is a Revros LT 1000. I think it's actually a saltwater reel, but it's small enough to where I can just use it freshwater. It doesn't really matter. For this, I'll throw a little bed fishing lures. This has been my absolute killer this year. That's what, if you check out my last videos, we crushed them on this lately. And then, obviously, I'll always have like a Senko tied on, or some other bed fishing lure. This is also a 6.6. This should be a Shakespeare, or no, this is a P Pflueger, a Pflueger President, and it's Pflueger President reel too. Yeah. So rod and reel combo, 6.6 light. I tend to stay to that 6.6, 7 foot range. Basically, the shorter reel is better for bed fishing because you're actually closer, you have more feel, whereas the farther rod is meant to cast long distances. Now, we'll start light to heavy. This right here, this is my Shimano Curado. This is probably one of my favorite reels. I have it on 12-pound test, and then I have it on a 7.3 Dobyns medium heavy. These Dobyns rods are perfect. They're kind of like a perfect in-between because you could throw frogs, you could throw jigs, you could throw whatever you want on it realistically. And they will hold up. And you could throw the light stuff. Like I believe this is only like a, I don't know, 1/4 ounce jig head with a Keitech on it. And then this is by far 100% my favorite setup. This is my SLX DC. These have an electronic catching system, so as you cast, it actually catches your backlashes, so helps you out a lot in the wind, and just makes a really pretty sound. It's like zzz. So it's on a 7.3 Dobyns, medium heavy. I like to, for my gear ratios, I kind of like to run a 7.3 1 gear ratio. I don't really differ from that. It's kind of just what works for me. Think of it like bikes, like so if you have like a 6-to-1 ratio, that's a lower gear. So you're basically, there's more torque on it. Whereas if you're on a higher ratio, there's more revolutions with less torque. So if you're wanting to cast crankbait all day, you would want a lower gear ratio, so it's less work. But it really is all preference. Here is this is usually my punching setup, but I've been bed fishing a lot lately, so I switched over this little 4-inch S-Waver onto it. This is a Stratus V1 SVI 266LX. It's like a $60 reel from Dick's. This is, and it is on a 7.6 Lamy glass. And these Lamy glass poles are cool because you can actually pop it down. So they're totally foldable. You can pop them in half. A friend of mine gave me this. And that same exact friend has left these two rods with me for a little while, so I've been using them. Shout out Colton. These are amazing rods. These are Lew's Powell's 7.3 heavy, fast action. This one's on an SLX. This one's on a Shimano Curado. As you can tell, those Shimano Curados and SLXs are kind of what we like to use. These are just great rods. This one's a 7.3, this one's a 7.6, this one's like your frog punching rod, and this one can be like your glide bait / trash fish. They got amazing feel. They got good stiffness. They're just great rods to have. I've actually never owned one, but Colton has. I've been using them for, I don't know, past couple months now, and probably my favorite rods. But this is my 7.6 St. Croix. This is kind of what I use for my trash fish. I will sometimes throw an A-rig on this as well. I have it on 25-pound test mono. I also have a 7:3:1 gear ratio on my Revo SX Abu Garcia reel. I'm not a huge fan of this reel. It's okay. It's kind of a little big. You can't really like grab it as well as my SLX or my Shimano Curado. So I don't know, maybe if I had bigger hands, maybe if you're a dude with huge hands, that this is kind of a reel that would fit you better. But for me, I get pretty tired holding that one. But yeah, that's kind of my whole run through rods and reels. And then I thought I'd take you guys through kind of what I do with a lot of my bed fishing lures. So I have all these jig heads, right? And on these jig heads, I throw these little paddle tail, they're like 3-inch swim baits. I either throw the forked or kind of the more realistic paddle tail. But I tend to keep the size pretty small. With those bedding fish, they don't necessarily want to eat your bait, they just want to get it off their bed. So a lot of times they'll literally just grab it by the tail and just drag it off the bed, or grab it by the tail and spit it back out. So you want a little bit smaller lure if you're trying to hook into those bed fish usually. But yeah, that's just what has been working for me. You'll probably see that in the next few days. We're gonna head back up to Clear Lake and catch them, so stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys would want to see more of this type of stuff. Yeah, I don't really do this stuff, so just showing you what I have, why I use it, what I use, and yeah, hopefully that helped you guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions or anything. Feel free to ask them, I will answer them. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. That'll be the video.